Okay, hopefully that doesn't fall over. Alright, I just made my mushroom tea, it's all me video. So now I feel inspired to make a Molly video. Yes, MDMA, Molly, ecstasy, whatever you want to call it. I actually did that a week before I did the mushrooms, and let's just hop right into it. Okay. So, this day I got off of work really early, and I knew later that night I was supposed to go to a Black Marble music show with my brother, but I thought, hey, it's a nice day, I have time, I have this Molly sitting in my drawer, so why not take it today? So I go home and I really contemplate this. I pulled tarot cards, which, as they always are, pointed me to taking them and preluded to what was going to happen, which did happen. So yeah, I prayed about it, I did a lot of thinking, and I asked my guides if this was what I needed to do, and I was actually really afraid. At one point I was like, you know what, I don't want to do this isn't necessary, and then this big feeling came over me like, hey, you have some lessons to learn, you need to take this, which I usually don't recommend. I don't recommend taking things to solve your problems, because sorry, I can't talk right now. We become codependent on them, especially drugs. And I'm not saying that what I take is addictive, but psychologically it can be, and it becomes a crutch, which is totally unhealthy. But this situation just felt different, and yeah, drugs are not the answer, but sometimes they lead us to new perceptions that we couldn't further see before. So anyways, I come to the conclusion that yes, I must take this, and I sat down, started painting a little, grabbed some water, grabbed my capsule, and I took my Molly. And I wanted to ease into it very lightly, so I just continued painting, and here, I'll show you the painting that I was doing. And hold on, sorry. So I wanted to feel calm and doing something comfortable and familiar, and so I was drawing. I couldn't make it very far because it hit me pretty soon. I was drawing this, and all of a sudden, I don't even know how far in, but all of a sudden, my eyes were shaking and I couldn't focus, and it hit me. I was like, oh, I'm high now. And this is something I've never done, and this was the first time I've tripped on anything completely alone without anyone knowing. So I started to go into the concept of what could happen, all of these really terrible things, but then other moments where I was like, oh, this is so fun, I should have done this more often, and I was fighting with myself whether I wanted to choose to have a light trip or to have a heavy trip where I have to get myself out of it. But as I continued drawing, there was a moment where I was like, this probably wasn't the most intelligent thing to do. And I was losing grip of reality. My hands were covered in paint, but which I didn't know this at the time, but I was right in this room at that table painting, and I came to the floor right here, and I went on my knees, and I just laid there, and I was like, this is a bad trip, this is a really bad trip, and I fell, and I was kind of, I was just pretty much falling down the rabbit hole, I guess, yeah. And everything negative that you can think of went through my head, and I fell into the space that I often talk about, my void death space, and I couldn't get out of it, and so the whole time I was just like giving up. I pretty much, it's happened so many times that I'm like, okay, it's my time to die. I'm dying, and whatever I thought that I had before, sorry, I'm gonna take this off, this is kind of annoying. There. Okay, so whatever I thought was real or I had before in this life, I knew that I had to say goodbye to it. All of my attachments, my family, my everything. So I laid there and I was going like this. Obviously I don't remember, but from the paint on my face later, I was going like this, and I was like kind of like choking myself and like going like this, going like, what did I do? Like kind of scratching my body and trying to get back. And yeah, then there was a moment where I fully submitted and submerged into that void, that black hole that I fall down every time. And I was gone for a long time. I don't recollect absolutely anything. Nothing. And I don't know how long I was there for either. All I know is when my consciousness came back, the first thing that came into my mind or my awareness was, if I am all that is, if I am God, I'm creating this, and I have the power to step out of this and to emerge into a whole new paradigm, a whole new way of existing. So, after dying, I stood up, I sat down at my painting desk, and I continued. I continued to paint after I died. And I remember thoughts and realizations of, I felt like a divine goddess. And I've never felt that way before. I felt empowered and I felt cleansed, but I did feel that something in me died. And I can't put my finger on it to this day, but I came back with a rewired brain and something was missing, and since then my life has been crashing down on me. And if you watch my very first videos, I kind of go into that, but yeah, so I continue painting the whole time. And another funny part was when I was painting, I had the feeling that I was making love to the paint and the brush, and I just, yeah, I've never really, that was a weird thing. Everything, breathing, existing, just moving, and I was making love, and it didn't have to be like sexual and physical in that way, but every act of life was, it was love, and it was very intimate, so, but it was, for me at least, it was extremely, okay, it was extremely pure and innocent, like a child, as all of my medicine trips are. I become my inner child again. So yeah, making love, and then I hear a knock on the window, and I was like, oh, my brother. So my hands, I see that my hands and arms are covered with paint. So I like go to the window and I like knock with my elbow, and he's there and his eyes just light up, and he's like, oh my gosh, what happened? I'm sorry, there are like people walking out there looking at me through the window. And yeah, so he looked at me like, oh man, she took something. And I go to wash my hands, I go out to unlock the door, and he comes into my house and he's like, please don't tell me you took those Amanita muscaria, I can't say it right now, sorry, mushrooms. And I was like, no, I took Molly. And he was just like, can I take a picture of you with your Polaroid? And I didn't know what I looked like yet. I had no idea. And I looked at the photo, my face was covered with acrylic paint, my arms, my hairy arms. So I couldn't get the paint off, and we had to go to a show in a few hours. But when he was there, he started cleaning after me, and that's when I realized I wasn't responsible, and I was such, okay, how do I say this? I was literally a child. I couldn't take care of myself. I didn't know right from wrong. I didn't know responsibility or cause and effect. The floor had paint all over it. The table had paint all over it. The walls, my body. My paint set is destroyed because of my incapability of taking care of things in that Molly world. So, anyways, yeah, we get ready and we're about to go to the show, and then I'm like, oh man, I don't think I can go out, my social anxiety. And then something sparks, and I was like, yeah, let's do it, this will be fun. And we go to the park, we swing there for a while, and we smoke some weed. And it helps me integrate reality back. I feel a lot more calm, because I was feeling very like, here's the thing with Molly. It's a methamphetamine. There we go. So I felt like I was on crack. I was like always like this, just so fast. And then when I smoked weed, I was like, okay, calm down. Which, yeah, this is the first time I've ever taken Molly, and I don't think I'll ever take it again. It seems, I liked it, but I like to stick to the psychedelics and like the more natural and things, but yeah, so we ended up getting on the bus to go to the show, and that was a whole new trip. I felt ranges of emotions of feeling uncomfortable to like nauseous, and then like just watching everyone, and it was really strange being in public on drugs. And yeah, it was, I don't know. Later, we get to the music show. I'm not really as high anymore, but I decide, I sound so terrible in these videos. I swear I'm not like this all the time. I'm just sharing all of my extreme moments. But yeah, so we decide to have some drinks, and we were playing arcade games, which was really fun, and I felt like a kid again. And then yeah, the night goes on, we listen to music, or the band, and then we dance, and you know, the night continues. We go to my brother's house, I spend the night, and that's the night where I wake up with some being standing over me with a mask throughout the whole night, and then me having insane dreams, and then me following up with not eating pretty much for a week. But yeah, I'm gonna go back. I'm sorry, my story is all over the place. I'm gonna go back into my painting sessions when I was home. I kind of want to just show you all. So my art got really intense and weird looking, and here's one of them. It's very blue, and there are like hand/paw prints, which I had visions of that on my Changa trip, which was before, like a week before this. So that preluded and foreshadowed to this moment, which all moments do that. And there's a face right here. I don't know if you can tell, but it's very bird-like. And that also has to do with my Changa and my everyday life now. I connect very strongly to birds, especially beings that are blue with feathers. But underneath there was the very first time that I connected to a being called Xena. I didn't know when I was high what this meant, but I kept writing Xena, 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 baby Xena. And I would write, oh, I can't really read this part. I can't read it, but I felt a presence with me after I went to the void. I came back knowing things that I never knew before. And here, wait, hold on, here's another. So these paintings are terrible. Yeah. It says fly away, and it's a bird and a little baby bird above. And my arms were painted blue, and I remember going like this, trying to fly for a while when I came back. And then I drew this face, which is very scary looking and weird. But, okay. Yeah, and then, sorry, I drew a lot of faces. So this was another painting. I just went into my room and grabbed anything, and it was a little piece of wood, so I grabbed that. But here is the part where I came back with knowledge and desires that I didn't know were in me. And here it is. Whoa, I'm sorry. Okay. So it says Mama Andromeda Home with 2 eyes. I didn't know what Andromeda meant. I felt very motherly. I felt that I was missing something. Like I said, when I came back, I was missing something. And this was the first time that I had the feeling that I wanted to go home. And now that's played a huge role in my life. After my trip and when I came home the next day, my life changed completely. I did some research on Andromeda. I figured out what it was, and the galaxy, the planetary system. I figured out that there are starseeds who claim to be from Andromeda, and through a lot of research and meditation, and now being contacted and channeled through, I guess I associate myself with the Andromedan people, and I believe that I might have originated from there, which I really have a hard time taking all of these labels and identities, but this is just what's been being presented to me, so I'll take it as it is. I've said this before, but I'll make a new video on Andromeda and what that means, but yes, so my Mali trip opened a new door to me. It rewired my brain. It was very vibrant and colorful and sensual in a non-sexual way. It was very high speed. My brain was thinking a lot, and I felt like a child. I was irresponsible. I didn't know right from wrong. There were no boundaries. There was no moral codes. I was just at a different state of existence. I enjoyed it though. But I would really like to go more into what this painting, the Andromeda home painting, has led to, but I've kind of already explained it before. So I'll just leave it at that. That was my Mali trip, and I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I can remember specifically. I don't think so, so I'm just gonna leave it at that. And if you guys like this video, please give me a thumbs up or leave a comment if you want to see other kinds of videos. I think I'm just gonna keep doing drug or psychedelic trip reports because it's something I can restore from my memory, and it's easier than just free talking for me, I guess. Yeah, I've grown to really enjoy making these videos, and I'm doing it a lot more recently, and I hope that someone else can relate to this and someone else knows that they're not going insane either, and that we're all one, and it's one stream of consciousness, and if I'm going crazy, if I'm insane, so are you, and that only means that we can understand one another. No matter if our circumstances seem to differ, we are at the same level of consciousness. So, brothers and sisters, we need to embrace one another in our own journeys because we're on the same path right now. And we really must accept that everything is connected and that we are one. And yeah, I think that's it. So, thank you for listening, and sorry for my craziness, but that's just who I am, and I hope you enjoy me being raw and open and vulnerable because it's not easy. So, yeah. Thank you. Peace.